All right, so we're starting right now. So today we're here with
Mike Balian.
and
Justin Amoroso.
who consider themselves to be huge, or some might say super fans of the Boston Bruins. We're going to ask them a couple of questions to figure out what makes them so much different than regular Boston fans. First, we're going to start with an early memory from their childhood. So I was going to ask Mike what one of the most memorable times that he has while being a Bruins fan.
Mine was when my father took me to my first game. I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and I remember during the intermission going out in the garden and waiting in line for a pretzel. And ever since then, every single Bruins game I go to, I go and I buy a pretzel during the first intermission.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on to that, how about you, Justin?
I believe I was 6 years old the first time I actually skated at the Garden. And my mom was really good friends with Bobby Orr, who was probably one of the greatest Bruins to ever play in the NHL. And we were skating, and my mom came and grabbed me, and she said, "Hey, I want you to meet somebody." And Bobby's standing there, and he was smiling. He was ready to meet me. And my mom looked at me and said, "Hey, do you know who this is?" And I just looked at her and I went, "Mr. Rogers?" And she just got the biggest kick out of it. She thought it was the funniest thing, and he started laughing. He said, "No, I'm not Mr. Rogers, but I'm pretty close." So that was always my funnest memory as a kid.
So there seems to be a theme between you guys as to what made it memorable. It seems that you guys are very young and you have a very distinct memory. Do you think that would shape into how you guys became fans later on without the help of your parents, or do you think it's something that you picked up afterwards once you got older?
Well, my father was a season ticket holder.
Okay.
He isn't anymore.
Okay.
But even as a kid, the sport he had put me into was hockey.
Okay.
So ever since I was a kid, I played hockey.
So it's been ingrained in your family for a very long time.
Yeah, he played hockey, passed it on to me.
Okay.
When you're a hockey player as a kid in New England, that's all you focus on. Like, I played hockey all year round. I didn't play any other sports.
Right. Right. Okay. How about you, Justin? Would you say it was something like that, or?
Yeah, my dad was always big into hockey. It was his favorite sport growing up. He played since he was a kid, played all through high school. And my mom worked at the Garden, so we were there quite often. Some would even say it was my second home that I grew up in. I was there so often, everybody knew me. So the Bruins were always a big part of our lives in my house. And watching the games on TV was an annual thing. If we weren't watching the game, we were probably watching Nesson. We were watching highlights of a game, or we were getting ready for a game. There was never a day that went by where the team wasn't what we talked about, and they really were the topic of conversation every night in our house.
Okay, that's interesting. So there seems to be some kind of norms that you as super fans have. Could you tell me a few that you would say that the most hard and diehard fans would have that would separate them from just your average bandwagon fan?
Yeah, we don't root for other teams like this one over here is doing, wearing a Minnesota jersey.
Now, see, I like to consider myself such a super fan of the sport. My team didn't make the playoffs 2 years in a row, so I'm going to root for Minnesota, a team who actually made the playoffs.
Okay.
That is a super fan of hockey, not just the Boston Bruins.
Okay.
Then you have a super fan of the Bruins over here that only wears Bruins clothing, won't wear anything like that.
Okay, so you have two different kinds of super fans, one
There
of the
are.
sport and one of the team.
There are. So right now I'm in a bit of a depression. My team just lost. We're not making it to the playoffs, and that basically means the end of a run for us. So another 6 months without hockey. I'll probably go in a hole and you won't find me for a few weeks, and I'll get over this depression eventually.
Hopefully, eventually.
Hopefully, but someone over here,
See, I feel that same way, but I want to be full head on into watching the playoffs.
Right.
I love the
Okay.
sport. I want to pick a team and root for them until the end. Because even if Minnesota loses first round, I'm still going to pick a next team to root for.
Okay, so you could say that you're a super fan of the sport.
Oh yeah, I want to watch until someone wins the cup.
Okay.
I wish it was
All
the
right.
Bruins.
Don't get me wrong, hockey's my favorite sport. I'll watch it every day. I'll still watch the playoffs. I'm not rooting for anybody, though.
Right,
I could
that
care
makes
less now
sense.
who wins.
Exactly.
My team's out, and that's it.
I would say another thing makes us super fans of Boston is we both have Boston Bruins tattoos.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
That's a big thing, because that's
your
body right there.
That's
So it shows
kind of commitment.
a lot of dedication. Okay, so going off of that, can you tell me a few norms that you would say super fans do? Like, for example, do you have a ritual that only really hardcore fans do, or do you guys watch the draft, or is there something that for someone else who's a fair weather fan would be like, oh, I don't care about that?
A fair weather fan, I would say Justin and I watch all 82 games of the Bruins season. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of commitment.
You'll get some people who will just go to a few games when they're home, or will just watch a game if they're out.
Okay.
But I know I do, and I'm sure Justin does too. I go out of my way to watch every single game of the 82 game season.
All right.
I know you probably have a different game day ritual than I do, seeing as how I have to go to work, being in there.
Yeah, if I have my own ritual if I'm going to a game, and I have a ritual if I'm not going to the game.
Okay.
If I'm going to the game, if I was going with my father, we always used to go to Joe Tecchi's in the North End before they closed down. But now we go to the Fours. You go to a restaurant off of Causeway Street.
Okay, yeah,
sports
exactly.
bars.
Yeah.
And everyone in there before a game is wearing a Bruins jersey. It's all hyped up.
Okay.
Go to the game a little early so you can get your Coke and your pretzel before the lines come out. You sit, you watch the pregame show. No, we're not one of those fans who walk in right before the game. We get there like a half hour early. Like, you want to see everything. You want to see the pre-skate. You want to see the warm-up.
Okay.
See, I'm there 2 hours early, so
Yeah,
I get
well,
to
you
see,
have to because of work.
I get to see the real pregame begin. But I'd say I have two routines. I'd either have my coming from school and going to work routine, or I'm coming from my house and going to work routine. If I'm coming from my house, I walk down the same streets. I take the same shortcut. I answer in the same way for the building. I always stop off at Dunkin' Donuts downstairs at North Station. Head up to our executive entrance, which nobody's supposed to go through, but I don't care because it's good luck. There's a little Stanley Cup vase with about 6 different Stanley Cups.
Okay.
I like to touch the vase before we walk in.
Okay.
Same thing. And if I'm coming from school, I cut down by MGH and walk down that way. Come in the back way by the Bobby Orr statue. Take a nice quick peek at that. Always the same routine with me.
If I wasn't going to the game and I'm watching it with my father, we'll either make sure we're home and we're sitting there and watching it, or we go to the Winthrop Yacht Club, which is a bar in my town where we sit and watch it. If I'm going to my friends, usually we pick a house, but most of the time it's at one of my buddy Robbie's house, and we all go down in his basement. We're all wearing our jerseys and hats. Maybe we have a couple beers. We order a pizza or two. We're sitting down and we're all on our edge of the seats and watching the game, the whole game.
See, I got the man cave. I did the cellar over in my basement, so I have a man cave, and I think everything on that wall is basically Bruins. If it's not Bruins,
Same with it. Well, it's not in his
Patriots,
basement. It's not
Bruins.
My buddy Robbie's another super fan.
Okay.
But his basement's not Bruins. It's just hockey memorabilia. It's got autographs of
Mine's
people
all
across the
Bruins.
league.
Right.
Every
And even-
memory of the Bruins.
Even during the intermission, if we don't feel like watching like the highlights of the first period, we'll throw on his Xbox and play NHL.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
So
you get to
there's
play
no break
pretending like
between
you're on the
hockey.
team. Yeah, there's no
Exactly.
Do you like playing other games as well? Because I don't know why.
So,
the only game I feel like I can play is NHL.
I prefer to play the NHL as well.
So, going off this topic that you guys have, it seems that, Mike, you prefer the sport as a whole, and Justin, you prefer the team as a whole. So do you think that...
No, because I don't want that to... I don't want my love for the
why you don't wear
sport
Minnesota
to
Wild.
take away from my dedication to the Bruins.
Okay, so you would never support another team if the Bruins made it to the playoffs?
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right. So that makes some sense. And
There you go.
so he's getting a gift right now. So my next question to you guys would be, do you feel as though your love or passion for the Bruins or the game influences your consumer behavior? So do you shop differently because you're super fans, or do you rush to get the first edition of something or something signed by a specific player?
I can tell you, me personally, I don't own a Red Sox shirt, a Patriot shirt, or a Celtic shirt. When it comes to my sports apparel, it's only Bruins stuff.
Okay.
I probably have every Bruins shirt on the market right now in my drawer. If you went through my drawers and looked at even just my plain T-shirts, there's somewhere a B on them. And I don't think I have one shirt that's not Bruins.
Okay.
I can't remember the day where I ever bought a shirt that wasn't Bruins.
See,
As sad as that is.
I have jerseys like this one from a couple different teams.
Right.
You know, not just the Bruins. Obviously, my favorite jersey
It would be the Bruins,
My Phil
okay.
Esposito Bruins jersey.
Okay. So, going off of that, do you think it makes a difference for a super fan and a regular fan in the way that they shop, or?
Definitely.
It's definitely a thought when you go out, the first thing you're looking for, or if you come across something that you think is sick or you want it. I don't think as a regular fan you get that image in your head when you see the shirt you really want. It's got a nice spoke B on it, and you just feel a type of way. You just need that shirt.
For me, it's like, okay, so if you're going to a game, you're wearing a jersey. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you're going over a friend's house, maybe it's a Bruins T-shirt and a Bruins hat. If I'm staying home alone, I know I throw on my lucky Bruins PJs.
Okay.
You know, if I'm not with anyone, I throw on my Bruins pajamas. So it's like if a game's on and I'm watching it,
Okay.
you gotta wear it. Now I work at a bar Monday, Wednesday, so I have a uniform. It's black pants and a short black polo.
Right.
Now when the Bruins play, I wear a polo with the Bruins logo.
Okay. So it affects your life beyond just
Beyond, yeah, in fact, you even work. You can,
Okay.
I'll tell you right now, every time I go to church to say a prayer for the team, I always have a Bruins shirt on.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not going to church
That's
without wearing a
interesting.
shirt if I'm going to pray for them.
That's interesting.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta-
very
you need help
intense.
sometimes, you know what I mean? Let me tell you.
So, a question a little bit off topic. Are you guys able to spot fans that are not hardcore? Are you guys able to spot what we call bandwagon or fake fans
You can
at
find
a bar?
fake fans very, very easily.
Yeah.
If they're out there and they're talking about the team, you ask them a good question and they can't give you an answer, they're pretty fake.
if you don't have an extensive knowledge of the team,
You would say it's just a
and
casual
our,
fan?
and our history. Like
Okay.
if I turn to Justin and say, "What 6 years did we win the Stanley Cup?" He's going to list them off the top of his head. If I ask
Okay.
him what numbers are retired in the Garden for Bruins, he's going to know it off the top of his head. Someone who's not a super fan isn't going to know those kind of things.
Okay, so you might be able to name like one or two players on a
Yeah.
team.
Yeah,
The most famous ones.
Well, I mean, I'm sure since we both lived it, I could tell you the whole Bruins roster from 2011 when we won the cup.
Put it like this, if you're still wearing a Tyler Sagan jersey or a Milan Lucic jersey, you're not up to date with the team and you're a bandwagon fan.
Oh, okay. All right.
You also know you're a bandwagon fan if you're not from Boston.
That's it.
So you can only be a super fan if you're from the area?
Well, you can be a super fan of hockey if you're from anywhere.
That's
But
true.
if you're a true super fan
If
of
you're
the
born
Bruins,
and raised.
you
Must be
have
from
to
the region.
Because the Bruins do a lot with the community, and they're a huge organization in Boston when it comes to the things that they do. So if you're not part of the community, it's hard to say you're a super fan of the Bruins.
It's hard to see the full image of the team and what they stand for.
I mean, there's days during the summer in the off season. Like, I remember I had a doctor's appointment last July, and I saw Zdeno Chara outside of MGH because he lives over in the West End.
Yep.
And my father and I went over to say hello to him, and he hung up his phone, sat there, shook our hands, and talked to us for like 10,
Oh,
15
it's
minutes.
really nice.
So even something on like a simple, unorganized, personal level, they are very involved in the community.
Okay. So, going off, you mentioned in the community, do you feel as though the Bruins are part of the whole community as a whole, or would you say they're just part of Boston?
I think the Bruins really influence the city. Like right now, when you don't see them in the playoffs, the city and the people that are really diehard fans,
can tell they're
they're
sad.
upset.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going around right now about people being upset. I mean, you listen to the radios,
Social media.
it's all over.
Even in the paper, they were ripping
You know,
apart the team.
people
Okay.
want to see the team blown up or the coach fired or something. But you know, the real fans see what happened and they see what needs to be changed.
And I like to think that from our generation, kids born in the early 90s, you have a group of real super fans
Yeah.
because of this level of success we've had here in Boston.
Okay.
We've seen 4 Patriots titles, 3 Red Sox titles, 1 Celtics, and 1 Bruins.
Yeah,
We've seen
absolutely.
all of our teams win
Yeah.
We're spoiled.
in the first 20
Yeah,
years.
envy
our
of the
life.
whole country.
Like
We're
when
absolutely spoiled.
Like when you talk about our fathers, they're super fans because they grew up in the 70s with the big bad Bruins.
But then they waited
You know,
out 40 years to see
the-
a championship, which
they,
is really
they
sad.
saw
But
they saw the rough and tough Bruins. They only won 1 cup, and then nothing after that. They would just beat up people. You know, so they grew up with a
okay.
different team.
So, would you say that success has a lot to do with being a super fan, or would you say that?
No, I
you're-
would say success breeds more super fans.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that it's the other way around.
Because if
I
you're a
would
super
fight
fan,
that. I would
Yeah.
fight that. I would say negativity breeds super fans.
Okay.
Because if you're a super fan, you root for your team through thick and thin.
Yeah, absolutely.
They lost this year and they're not in the playoffs, but I'm not here trash talking them.
Neither-
I'm still
neither have I.
supporting them. I think that super fans come out of them losing. I
Okay.
think the people that stand by them,
The true
people that
super
buy
fan.
the season
Okay.
tickets,
True
the people
super
that still
fans
wear
stick by the
their
team.
shirts. Somebody asked me yesterday, why are you wearing my Bruins jacket? I wear it every day. I don't take it off just because they lost. I'll wear this jacket every day. It's my favorite jacket.
Okay.
It'll always be my favorite jacket.
okay.
I think that's how
So,
you find a real true super fan.
so what you guys are telling me is whether the Bruins, and you can help me out here because I'm not really big on hockey. They have 82 games. Let's say the Bruins won 10 games. It wouldn't change anything for you guys. It would it would make you more upset that they're losing, but it wouldn't change how you feel about the
That
team?
would tell me that they're in a rebuilding stage, and all that shows me is that they're trying to plan for something bigger
Obviously,
than
when you lose, it's an emotional experience. When,
Okay.
you're a super fan, you're so invested
that. But you
in
take
the
the
team.
positives.
Yeah, you're so
take the
invested in the
positives.
team, but you never give up on the team if you're
Okay.
a super fan. No.
All right. So, can you guys tell me of something or an item that you guys have that could symbolize how much you care for the team, whether it's a signed jersey or a puck?
Like the tattoos.
Yeah, aside from my tattoo, because I mean, if you show someone your tattoo, it's pretty much over with. Like, no one's gonna say you're not a fan.
I have it in my room, and it goes to a special memory of mine.
Okay.
My father and I went to a game probably 6 or 7 years ago, so I was in high school, and they were honoring Johnny Busick, who was one of the greatest Bruin players of all time, the Chief. His number's retired. And what they did, they gave back to the community. Everyone who came to the game got a little statue figurine of Johnny Busick holding the cup. And
That's nice.
I've had that in my room
That's
ever
nice.
since.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to stick right with that game because I did something that game that was pretty crazy. We went upstairs, me and my mom. Again, she was good friends with Johnny. And we have what we call the sports museum in our suite level.
See that.
And if you walk by, in the vase, there's the headdress that they had for him because they called him the Chief. It was almost like the Indian hats.
Because he was Native American. So
Right.
So it was black and gold and it had the feathers. And I think I had to be 10, 11 at the time. It was, and Chief looked at me and he said, "Here, try this on." And he gave me the headdress and put it on. And it was so long, it was down below my feet, so I had to hold it up in one hand. And I actually have the picture in my room of that, wearing the headdress, the old jersey that they wore that day.
See, that's the difference between
That's,
super fans too.
that's
is
one of my favorite pictures of all time.
as a super fan, we don't know we don't know just the current team. We know
Everything that's going on. Okay.
How many Bobby Orr signatures do you have in your house?
Too many.
I probably have
I have
like
a Bobby Orr vase in my.
I have a Bobby Orr signed stick, picture, newspaper, puck. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, going off of this, can you guys give me a few do's and don'ts of fans? Like, if someone just came into the sport or into being a Bruins fan, could you tell me a couple of pointers that you would give them to enjoy the game better or be a better
The
fan?
number one rule is you never root for the Montreal Canadiens.
Okay.
That's number 2.
Number two
Number
rule.
two?
Okay.
Yeah, that's number 2.
I want to hear is number one.
Don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear.
You don't poke the bear.
Don't
Now
get the bear
that's
angry.
right from Bruins marketing.
Okay.
That's right from their advertisements.
Okay.
That's one of their commercials that they play throughout the game. Even at the Garden on the Garden HD, is that what's it called?
HDX.
Yeah, the
Okay.
HDX, which is the big jumbotron they have. And even on the commercials, when you sit and watch at home, they do all these things with
Don't poke the bear.
with the bear and the player, and it's don't poke the bear.
I think that's
Okay.
been about 20 years now.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
one that's been out there. And
All right.
you know what? It's because of the big bad Bruins that came about.
And we also have such a deep-rooted fan base because we're an original 6 team. Hockey, the NHL in America in Canada is over 100 years old.
Okay.
And we're one of the original 6 teams
Only 97 years
for the Bruins.
has been the Bruins.
The Canadians have been around longer.
The
Okay.
Canadians already had their 100th anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
we're
All
almost
right.
we both know a lot of
We're almost there.
So
Crazy
okay.
information.
So all right. So you said don't poke the bears, and you mentioned the marketing aspect of the Bruins. Do you think that they do a good job of finding out what the consumer needs? As in,
Oh, absolutely.
So let's say, for example, wasn't there a time where you said, "Oh, I wish they made this kind of shirt," or "I wish they made this kind of jersey." Do they take input as to their jersey design, or does that go?
So he would know better than I because he works with them. From my understanding, no.
Okay.
Their jersey design is through a contract with Reebok.
Okay, so they don't take fan
the
input.
organization and Reebok creates their jerseys. Right?
Okay, so there's no fan
So
input.
there's a rule in the NHL. You have 3 jerseys that you're allowed to wear during games.
Home, away, and alternative.
Alternative
Okay.
jersey is usually your second home jersey.
Right.
Not a color one like this would be.
This is an alternative jersey. For
Okay.
So the way that we listened to the people was we were asked, could we make a Hockey Fights Cancer jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Could we make a Military Appreciation jersey?
Which is a great jersey, by the way.
Okay.
Could we make a St. Patty's Day jersey? And we took all those into account and we made them. We did a purple one for Hockey Fights Cancer, which we then have all the players autograph and they auction off, and all the money goes to the American Cancer Foundation.
Okay.
For military appreciation, we have camouflage jerseys made with the big spoke being in the middle. Those are also signed and auctioned off, and they go to the U.S. military.
Okay.
And then the St. Patty's Day jerseys are auctioned off as well, and they go to the Camp Daly Foundation.
But because of the contract, they don't wear those jerseys while the game is going on. They
Okay.
only wear them during the pre-skate and the warm-up.
Okay, because they can't wear them.
Yes,
wear them
because it'd be a breach of the contract. With
Okay. All right. But overall, do you guys feel that the team listens to its fans and this?
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
think they
They're
listen more than anybody else.
They're so interactive with the community, like not
Okay.
even just the organization, the players themselves.
Okay. Have you been to any events lately that you could tell me about? Aside from a game, any community-like events, or has it just been games?
I haven't this year.
Okay.
He definitely has because he works.
The last event that I went to was Cuts for a Cause, which is the Bruins' big cancer event that they run on.
Okay.
Where they shave all their players' heads, and the money that is raised for shaving heads, I think Tuukka Rask got about 10 grand. To
Okay.
get his head shaved by somebody.
Okay.
The money was all donated to the Cam Daly Foundation for Cancer Care. So I think over 300,000 was raised at that event.
Okay.
So that's one of their bigger events.
That just made me think of something. Another thing for Boston Bruins super fans is not just watching the games. The Bruins have a show on the NHL Network called Behind the Beat.
Okay.
And it's they pretty much follow the team around in the locker room, on the plane, when they do all these events that he was talking about. And like it's a way for the super fans to watch the players in real life scenarios. And,
Oh,
like,
okay.
You feel really connected to them.
So you see them outside. You see them outside of their
outside of the
their
ring,
zone.
outside of the suit and tie. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
All right.
And
So
during
that's good
games,
to know.
You get to hear them mic'd up, and you hear what they're saying to each other on the bench, and it just makes you think, what they're actually saying to each other that you wish you could hear, and now you're finally hearing it, and it makes you react.
Okay.
You hear them swearing at each other.
Another thing that
and
makes
getting
you a super
excited.
fan
It's
is like
unbelievable.
when someone's on the Bruins, if they're a Bruin, you know it, and they're a Bruin for life.
Okay.
So, for example, Sean Thornton
Okay.
was on the Bruins the year we won the Cup, got traded. Every time he comes to Boston, he gets a standing ovation from the crowd.
Because the fans are
Yeah.
associated
Same
with and love.
when
it.
They appreciate good hockey.
when Milan Lucic came back to Boston for the first time, they had a big ceremony for him when he walked on the ice with an LA jersey on.
Oh, okay.
And then even if you go back, 15 years, 20 years to when Ray Bourque got traded, the people in Boston still loved Ray Bourque.
Okay.
We sent him to the Colorado Avalanche so he could win a Stanley Cup. The people in Boston, like you read the papers from then or look around the city or you talk to people like my father or his father, they say they were all rooting for Colorado because Ray Bourque is a
I
Bruin.
remember
Okay.
watching those games.
So-
we were 6 or 7 with them.
Before we sign off, can you guys tell me something that you would say to someone who's coming into the sport? How to be a good fan or
Bleed black and gold.
bleed black and gold? Okay.
If you're gonna cheer them on wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Don't just do it because they're winning.
All right. All right. That would be also. Thank you, Mike and Justin, for your interview today. Truly appreciate it. Thank you.